So I'm here today to talk about a book that hits like a great coffee, or should I say, a great latte. I'm sorry, I had to tell that joke. I wouldn't have been able to focus on anything in this video if I couldn't tell that joke. But now, let's get on into it. So, Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, that's what we're talking about today, as the title would tell you. And this is a book that exploded onto the fantasy scene in 2022. It was self-published early in the year, and then it was picked up by Tor traditional publishers and published again late on in the year. And it's very popular because of its audible narration by Travis Baldree, the author, who I believe is the very popular narrator of Will White's Cradle series. So yeah, he had a bit of a fan base there. And anyway, Legends and Lattes has exploded on the scene. So it is about an orc called Viv who has been embroiled in violence her entire life, then retiring and setting up a coffee shop. I mean, if that doesn't have you hooked, I really don't know what will. If you're looking for an epic fantasy series with incredible action sequences, with a huge cast of characters that you have to write down notes to remember them all, when you're just swept along on this immersive roller coaster of a journey as you travel continents, then this is not it. This is definitely not the book you're looking for. This is an intimate story set in a small little area about a veteran orc setting up a coffee shop. That's not a sentence I ever thought I'd be saying on the channel. This is high fantasy with low stakes. If you're looking for a fresh read, or you're tired of reading the same book again and again and just written by different authors, then I highly recommend picking out Legends and Lattes. If anything, this is unique. It is absolutely great in that sense. I didn't love it. I will be open with that. I think I gave this 4 stars. I mean, stars, they're never reliable depiction of what you actually think of a book, because some books they're really engaging at the time, you give it 5 stars, others are because they have a huge impact on you. But anyway, that's just kind of a ballpark region. It shows that I didn't really love it, but it's one that I really enjoyed the journey with. Legends and Lattes, as I said, is of course unique, and it is fresh, and is one that I think that everyone will enjoy. I'm not sure how many people, I know some people love it, but this is one that you get books that people either love or hate, and then you get books that most people will really enjoy, and this falls into that category. I think it's one that could be a palate cleanser for everyone. It's very witty, it's very humorous, but there's some serious themes coming into play as well, and I really like the balance that Travis Baldree struck. And don't worry, along with, as I said, the freshness and setting up a coffee shop, there's also a large dose of tension. Who knew that you could become as engaged in a coffee shop being set up as another book which would be about saving the world? I felt the same amount of tension here as I do in a lot of other books. And so, yeah, that is quite remarkable that Travis Baldree's done that. I didn't really realise as it was happening, but when I put this down and I was finished, I was like, wow, I was actually really invested in this story, and I was willing for this coffee shop to succeed. And of course that's where the title comes from, Lattes. And Viv is a legend. She's a retired orc and she is known widely, and so yeah, there we go. There's the title's pretty self-explanatory as well. And as I was saying, this is high fantasy, low stakes, great cast of characters. This is a character-driven story, and I really like those who come into play in building the shop. And we have some antagonists as well, and I like how that comes into play. And the slow eking out of Viv's background. Our main character is called Viv, and yeah, as we slowly discover more about her background, her history, which she's trying to brush under the carpet and not think about as much now. We're wondering, why is that? Is it shame? Is it trying to not linger in the past? What is it? What is it? So many questions, and Travis Baldree slowly trickles bits, golden nuggets of information as we go through this story. And I really enjoyed that we weren't just told it right at the beginning. It added another layer of engagement and mystery to the story, which is something else which really hooked me. And you need those hooks in books. I think that it's not just about one thing, it's about loads of different story elements coming together. And that takes me on to the writing side of the prose. It's very accessible. It is one that I think everyone will be able to click with and enjoy and follow. It was nothing extraordinary in the sense that this has never been done before, but books don't need to be like that. I think that this is the perfect writing style for the book that it was. It came across as very simple. There are little elements, little moments of really beautiful language that I thought were lovely, but overall Travis Baldree seems to have adopted a simpler style that's kind of just mirroring what the story is about. It is a small, intimate story, and it's not epic or grand or anything like that. And as I said, the writing style really imitates that and seems to mirror it, and I really enjoyed that as well, that all these elements seemed consistent in tone and atmosphere and really enforced and enhanced each other. So just a little overview. This is a slice of life story about an orc who has retired from a life of warfare to set up a coffee shop. I mean, I really highly recommend this. It's quite short, and this is a Broken Binding special edition with a nice little art card there. But anyway, I really highly recommend reading this because it is engaging, it is immersive, and it's just that freshness which is really... I was about to enter a reading slump, I think, and I often say that I read a wide variety of books across different genres and themes as well to try and stop that, and Legends and Lattes really achieved that. It nipped it in the bud, and yeah, as I said, it was just fresh, and it was really fun, and it's great being able to talk to people about Legends and Lattes because this has been so popular over the last year, and I've been jealous of other people reading it before me as I've had piles and piles of books mounting up on either side of me, but I found time to sneak Legends and Lattes in there. And I'd also highly recommend the audible narration because it is by Travis Baldree, the author himself. And of course, when an author narrates their book, he is a professional audible narrator, so he's got the skills, but on top of that, he knows this book inside out, of course, naturally, and so he knows when to alternate the tone and language, where to allow it to fluctuate in his tone and delivery and diction. I thought that he did a really great job enhancing that, and yeah, I've read part of it, but I think that I actually preferred listening to it because it just seemed like a conversation. As I said, this is slice of life fantasy, and yeah, listening to it just seemed, it may just be me being weird, but it seemed like quite conversational, and that's the way this story is told. So yeah, I highly recommend listening to it on audiobook form, but also reading it physically is great as well. And this is one that I recommend to everybody because I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts. And please do let me know in the comments below if you have read Legends and Lattes. What did you think? Are you going to pick it up? Do you want me to change my review format? Because I do plan on doing quite a few reviews on this channel. But yeah, that is Legends and Lattes, a book that I'd highly recommend. Sorry, my thoughts may not be as detailed as some of my others because I've read this 2 months ago now, so some of the details have just gone out of my head like that, whereas most books I review I've read very recently. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you checked this out, or if you have checked it out, hopefully you enjoyed it. But as I said, thank you and stay safe.